what's up, Headspaces? It's your brother VJ from the Ancient Mother once again. Today's a very special episode because we're live and direct, we're external. Here to cover what I feel is an important person for the culture at large. And I'll let you make that up for yourself once you hear this incredible story from this phenomenal individual right next to me. I'm sitting next to Midian Ganyaza, also known as B-Girl Mid, right? Yep. Killing it. And you might ask yourself, who is this? Why am I talking to her? Basically, Midian is the motherfucking champion of the whole entire universe.
South Africa.
South Africa. When it comes to the art of breaking. Now, we're a hip-hop podcast, and for the most part, we tend to narrow hip-hop down to rap music because that's where the commercial scope is focused for the most. But remember, hip-hop has elements, and part of these elements are graffiti, b-boying. I don't even like referring to it like that. Let's say it's breaking. Let's transcend the gender. Yeah, well, and we're here to actually cover that element in full scope with a professional and a proficient expert at that. Midian, how you doing?
I'm good. It's good to be here today.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for giving us the time. Now, I want to just let the folks in on a little bit about who you are. So, PE raised.
Yes.
So you were homegirl. Like, I have to put that out there because we're based in PE, and you know how territorial things be. So that's I'm proud for that, first and foremost, that you're from this place that a lot of people consider maybe a forgotten scope when it comes to kind of people succeeding and branching out and doing great things. So the fact that you were cultivated in this place is the first point of interest for me. So how did you get into breaking?
Okay, so it started when I was attending this dance school back in 2013, and I saw these three women breaking at a dance show. And I was like, what? Girls can do this? Because I only ever saw guys do it.
Right.
And so I took an interest and I asked them for their number and I started taking their classes. You know, I said to myself, if I can do it, if they can do it, I can do it. You know? So yeah, that really inspired me.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So what was it in that moment that kind of made you go, all right, I think I can do this? Was breaking before that moment something that you found interesting? Was hip-hop something that you were listening to? Were you in any way kind of exposed to any part of the culture that really made you gravitate towards that more?
Yes, younger when the movies Honey and You Got So.
Oh, I remember that era.
Yes.
The dance movie era. Jesus, that was when crumping was the thing, right? And all of that. That was the
J Squad.
Oh, Jay, that was that was a phenomenal era.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so thank you for that context. Yeah, I often forget about that era. So you see these breakers doing their thing, and what happens next?
Yeah, so I took up their classes for a couple of months, and then the school closed down. So then I turned to YouTube tutorials. And then I went to another teacher. He taught me for a few years, and then again his school closed down, so then I went back to YouTube tutorials and basically trained at home in the space that I could find, because I wasn't going to let no studio space or dance space stop me from practicing.
Nice.
So I was like, I want to push this thing. I want to see how far I can get.
Nice. So you know, it's okay to name drop, because I'm really interested at those women you saw breaking. Do they still do it? Are they people who are around the scene? Are they still active?
I don't think they are active at the moment. They're all from PE. So their names are Nadia, Taryn, and Shanae.
Shout out to Nadia, Taryn, and Shanae. This is the part where we blow the horns. That's what it do. Because it's important. It's important to acknowledge the people who practice this culture at that level and who inspire traditions to grow on. So shout out to them. So, you know, challenges come and go, but as you said, you remain consistent to the craft. When did it become this kind of beloved skill and start actually turning into a competitive thing where you were doing it on a level that was, bringing back something more than just the joy of doing it? How did that transition take place?
Okay, so it happened in my first battle in 2018. So Red Bull came and did a local cypher. And at the time there was no B-girl section. Section, it was just the guys.
In 2018,
Imagine.
how far we come.
So they only started the B-girl section internationally in 2018, but not locally.
Interesting
Right?
fact.
So the next year they started the B-girl section in locally. So I took part in the B-boy section. So I battled the guys, which was fun. I enjoy battling guys more than I do girls.
Okay.
I don't know why. It's just more fun. Like, they don't take themselves as seriously, and it's not like you know how it is sometimes with women. It's like so with guys, like, you can fool around with them, and they don't take it personally, man.
Right.
And that's what I love about battling guys. So yeah, that was the first time I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this competitively, and I made it to quarterfinals. So that I felt like that was an accomplishment for me.
The first time.
Yeah, the first time. That was my first battle.
And you made it to quarterfinals.
Damn.
That was an accomplishment for me.
That's incredible.
I was proud of myself.
No, that's incredible. That's what. Now I'm gonna actually take a moment to exploit that scenario. You talk about being, battling with the guys and preferring that even. I want to ask you, like, it's somewhat of a political question. We're in an era where there's a conversation around the question of, like, gendering sport. Do you think it is important to kind of still keep sports and all kinds of athletic crafts to a male-female dynamic, or do you, as somebody who's practiced at a level and engaged with both male and female, feel like there is no competitive advantage physically, or are those things that are real to you? Do you feel like maybe there is a significance to keep these things separate because, the angle is that the bodies are different, so men have a slight more advantage over this. So what do you feel? Do you feel like actually, and I'm speaking for breaking in particular, but for like sport in general, so from a breaking level, do you feel like, nah, fuck it, we could actually be all just breaking together? We all, both our bodies can do the same things in the same ways, and whatever advantages that do exist aren't significant enough to warrant a separation. What do you think about
That's a really good question, and I've thought about it a lot, and I'm like kind of sitting on the fence with that one. I'm sitting on the fence with that one.
Okay.
Because I really think that B-girls bring something different to breaking. So to have that distinction of like B-boys, B-girls, you see how differently they approach breaking, right? But then in the same breath, for years and years and years on end, B-girls were battling guys and beating guys. I mean, in Japan, that's what they do in Japan. Like, they equal.
Right.
Then that's why they are so good. Like, the B-girls from Japan are so excellent. It's because they don't see that distinction. And I think that's one of the problems, maybe. I don't know, I could be wrong. This is just my opinion.
Yeah.
As to why sometimes the level of the B-girls and the level of the B-boys are not the same. It's because, oh no, she's good for a girl. So yeah, I don't know if I stand on the one side or on the other side, like, but then in the other hand, like, making that distinction has offered more opportunities for B-girls. You understand? So now there are more B-girls. Ever since Red Bull has in 2018 made those different sections, B-girls, B-boys, there have been more B-girls springing up online. Like, it's crazy. Like, more practicing B-girls, more B-girls battling. So it's hard. It's hard to actually take a stance on that.
Yeah. Respect that, because it is. It's a complex issue, and I'm bringing it up for our subscribers as well, please talk to us in the comment section. We live in a culture that's gendered, divided, and we've seen both the worst and the best of what that can bring. And it's a question that we need to always bring up because we're constantly changing and evolving. And like you said, there's aspects of it that lead us toward an inkling of maybe how the world could be. Maybe if we learn from each other, then we could understand each other better and be in the same dynamic. But also at the very same time, respecting our kind of particular approaches works in a way, politically, socio-economically, who knows. But thank you for answering that question as honest as you could. And for our subscribers, please hit us up. What do you think? From issues of personhood, identity, self-discovery, gender, and competing at a high level, you are now champion. Like, you can now proudly wear that and you can say it. And I just want to ask you, first and foremost, like, how does it freaking feel to wear that esteem on you? If it's even something you take on. I mean, we do with these things what we want. So what does being a champion mean to you?
I guess it's just, every time I look at the trophy, I'm like, I see blood, sweat and tears.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know what, I worked hard to get here and I deserve that. I still feel like Midian, I would have still continued breaking, still continued training, even if I lost. Because my passion doesn't rest on accolades and winning trophies. My passion rests on the fact that I love breaking. Okay. I say to myself, even if I don't win, even if I don't make it like high level, even if I don't, any of these things happen for me, I'm still gonna do breaking because I love it. It stems from love, not from wanting approval or success or trophies. Yeah. Appreciate
that. And on a level that's more socio-economic, so I'm sure a lot of people ask you, if they haven't, then okay, it's a very important question of, can you actually make a living out of this? Like, is it something you can do as a profession that keeps you going and allows your livelihood as an individual to put food on the table?
So there are a lot of dancers doing that. I'm not doing that at the moment. I'm just focusing on the competitive side of things. So you can get sponsors, you can get gigs and jobs to do that. I'm not doing that at the moment. I'm just focusing competitively. So I have a day job.
Shout out to day jobs. And they fuel the dreams.
And a lot of, like, what I noticed a lot of breakers do. There's only like, what I've noticed, like a select few that are actually self-sustaining off of breaking, whether it's going to do adverts, going to auditions. Yeah, so it's a difficult topic to
navigate. Yeah, because I mean, we spoke to Cheslin, to B-Boy Rhythm, the last time, and he mentioned to us how if you're gonna do that, you either have to be dancing proper and be doing breaking as an extension of dance. So with all these other different styles of dance, and perhaps start a school, or like you just mentioned briefly, kind of capitalize on the commercial aspect of breaking and how it's popular with some the brands appealing to the so-called urban market. Because we know breaking and the culture of hip-hop has this kind of, let's call it a street appeal that's become increasingly more like appealing to a capital market, you know. So have you done any of those gigs? Have you had to do some moves for a shake or a drink or a brand?
Not really. There was one that I did for what was the band? Nativa. It was some vitamin thing.
Okay.
So I did that once, and then I've done like small little jobs.
Right.
Here in VE, like shows. but nothing huge, you know.
Yeah.
Because it's not like my focus.
Yeah.
Like my focus is like the competitive athletic side of things.
Yeah.
Compared to that side. Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. So here you are, doing your thing, competitively respected, loving the art form, still consistent at it, doing your day job, but still having the energy and the love to keep it going. What would you say to all the boys and girls out there and everything in between who are kind of interested in this art form, in this craft you practice, and who feel like it's a little bit too daunting to even approach? What would you do to kind of give them a little pep talk out of that anxiety and to help them dive into a world that you are clearly dominating as we speak right now?
So what I've said before is like start with what you have. If you don't have access or you can't afford a dance school, everyone has access to internet and cheap data. So just go on YouTube, type in breaking tutorials or breakdance tutorials, and you will find beginners tutorials, intermediate tutorials, advanced tutorials. That's what I did when I didn't go to dance, when I didn't have the opportunity to go to dance studios, or when I couldn't find studios that focused on breaking. Like they were, like when I started, they were very few and far between. And so that's my advice. And just start with what you have. If you don't have space, go to the park on a nice sunny day and train in the park. Go to the beach, go to the skate park, train in the skate park. Like there's always space, man. Like there's always space around. Look around, there's space. You know, move your furniture. If you live in a small space, like I said, just go to the park, go to the grass, go to the beach, find a flat space and just do your thing there. Yeah.
Thank you so much. You heard it, folks. I think kind of all boils down to, if you really love something, you understand that there's only really two resources in the world: time and space. So whatever you do with your time, whatever you do with the space that you have, quantifies in what happens to your life and to your dreams and to any vision you have for yourself. So use whatever time, use whatever space that's practical and possible for you to make it happen for yourself, because this could be you, like right here, like talking your shit and being humble about it, like Midian, which I really like. So the conclusive question always has to be one that kind of flirts with the future a little bit, because you're presently doing your thing, still young at it, but like kind of like a prodigy. Like you feel like a prodigy to me, because you're talking about being in your first competition and then ending up in the finals. That's like crazy prodigy stuff. So now that you are you have the stripes, you know, and you're kind of still collecting bodies and stripes along the way, what do you think the future has in store for you? What would you want the future to have in store for you?
So my future is this is how I picture my future.
Cool.
I want to compete at the Olympics. Like I'm taking steps to get there, in doing small competitions and then hopefully going international and gaining points, because it's on a point system, and then working with to be sponsored by a brand is my dream. But if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Like I'm also taking active steps to get towards that. And I know like everything happens at the right time. Doors open at the right time, and yeah, bro, like no rush. It's your like stay in your lane. Like for me, like that's the biggest thing. Just stay in your lane. Don't compare your journey with someone else's journey. Stay in your lane. Okay. So yeah, that's like the biggest thing for me is the Olympics, and to continue competing, host some of my own events, and also want to, like when I'm a little bit more mature in my thinking maybe, or in my dancing and my respect or experience.
Yeah.
I want to judge competitions. Like, I want to be an official judge for the trivium system, which is the system they use for the Olympics.
Right.
So, yeah, but my desire is like definitely to stay competing well into my 40s, 50s. And yeah, those are the list of things that I want to do for the future. Yeah, I love this industry and I want to be in it for a long time. I want to be consistent. Yeah.
Consistency. Now, if there's anything that you must know about the Headspace and myself, is that we love being educated. And you said two things that I can't let go. That was supposed to be my last question, but you mentioned the Olympic point system, which I'm really interested in a little bit how that works. And you mentioned trivia. Now that to me sounded like Greek, and I want you to help me understand those insider things and a little bit of that knowledge, and help our subscribers and our aspiring breakers understand what is that, the point system. How does it work?
As I understand it, so you get points, the points add up, and eventually you will get to compete in a big competition. That's my understanding of it. So you have qualifying competitions locally, nationally, internationally, and you need to earn points to be able to represent your country in one big final competition. And then the other thing is there's a trivium system. And this system has specific points that you look at, like technique, musicality. What was the other point? Technique, musicality, creativity, originality.
Kind of like our five principles.
Sounds very familiar.
I'm not sure how many points there are, but there's like creativity, musicality, originality. So they have the judges have sliders like this, and when the two battle, they slide the sliders across on each of those things, and then they add the points up, right? And then the system calculates the points, and then it will either be the first person one or the second person one. Okay, so that's the trivium system. So it's based on points, whereas the normal I don't know what the threefold system. Threefold system, yeah? What do they call it? Well, the normal, I just said the normal judging system is just left or right or tie, which is, it doesn't provide a lot of room for being specific about why the person won or lost, whereas the trivium system gives a reason as to why you lost, because sometimes with this kind of system you don't know why you lost. The judge could have just voted for your opponent because he's your friend, or because it's subjective, that system. Whereas
it's like an opinion.
Yes. Yeah. Whereas the point system, the trivium system, is more informed. You actually get to see why you lost or why you won, what you can work on. I need to work on my technique. Do I need to work on my musicality, my foundation, etc., etc. And it's also about how my friend explained it to me. It's about finding the imbalances. Who has the most imbalances? And so you have to be a well-balanced breaker. Are you touching on all the elements of breaking? That's what the trivium system is about.
That's freaking fascinating, and we should put any important links in the description, because this is, I feel like, a bigger part of the dialogue around breaking as a competitive sport, and it now going into the Olympics, and like the quantifying factors to kind of taking all of these different styles and finding like a monolithic grading system, which, with rules, you kind of make it up as you go along anyway, but you need to make it make sense. So that's what I'm getting from this. I'm also getting that there's a lot of homework I need to freaking do. So thank you for the opportunity to like expose my ignorance, because that's where we all learn. And I would love for our subscribers to also hopefully feel that moment. There's hip-hop heads in particular, because we profess to love the culture, and yet there's things about aspects of it that we have no clue of. I know y'all didn't know a lot of what we've been talking about here. So thank you for the opportunity. And before I bounce, let's talk about how your ass is going to New York.
Yeah, woo woo.
That's another like horn moment right there. So next chapter, tell us more about that.
Yeah, I'm excited. I get to compete in the Last Chance Cypher. So it's also once again like a pool of dancers, probably like 200 plus dancers internationally, and then they select top 16 from there. They do another battle, top 16 bracket, and then from there the top 2 go to the world final stage. World final top 16.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So it's hard.
Okay.
So they make it hard. It's hard. So for me, just to even go, it's just like, yay, I made it, bruh.
You know.
Like, but I'll push it. I'll definitely push it to see if I can make that top 16 bracket out of 200.
We'll definitely be checking you out.
Yeah, so
we'll be following that. Yeah.
I'm excited to go to the birthplace of hip hop.
Yeah.
To visit those specific sites in Sedgwick Avenue.
Yeah, the Bronx. You know what I'm talking about?
So I'm excited. Like, it's the birthplace of hip hop, man. It's so exciting.
Shout out. I love that how just girl from South Africa in some like random province watches a dance competition, sees 2 women breaking, pursues her passion, ends up being a national dominator, and now is going back to where it all started. Isn't that poetry in motion? And isn't that life? When you pursue what you love, it kind of takes you to not only the furthest depths you could ever go, but ironically it takes you back to the origins, and it takes you back to what you need to consider. So thank you again, Midian, for the opportunity to like give us a glimpse of this amazing journey, which is inspiring for me, and I hope is inspiring for our subscribers as well. You're giving us a reason to follow your life, no pressure. You're giving us all a reason to like be motivated at the fact that not everything may be possible, but a lot is, including this, including like being a champion in your field and dominating. And I hope particularly for like the women out there, we've sparked some conversations that will push them into a streak of really doing what they want to do, whether it's breaking, whether it's graphic, whether it's MCing, or even outside the scope of hip-hop. So as the Headspace, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And yeah, any social media handle or anything is going to be in the description. So if folk want to know anything about you, we'll definitely put that on. So once again, it's VJ, the brother from the ancient mother, hanging out with Midian, aka B Girl Mid. I gotta bring in the AK. It's hip hop at the end of the day. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Go see.
Thank you.
Headspace is how we do. We keep it going. Goddamn, I've been educated. Like. And as in Knicks, guys, and it's a great feeling. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Well done.
Thank you. Well done, TP. Well done, Mitz. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Buddy.
3,